Alright, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah Ba'ashem, YAHAWAHSHI Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, the double honors to the apostles and elders I learned this truth from, the men at GMS, and the brethren with a like-minded doctrine. This lesson, what I'm going to bring out today, is basically a response to the Apostle Tahar's lesson here. I'm not going to play it, but there was some simple Jake, old ass simple Jake called some Edomite, supposedly he's a pastor or something, and he asked him the question about, you know, who are the Hebrew Israelites, and he was basically going into it as it is a religion, an unknown religion, and he was basically trying to debunk the fact that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the chosen people of the Bible, or the Israelites. So this pastor, this Edomite pastor, he was basically trying to through his philosophy explain away without any proof that the Hebrew Israelites, which he called black Hebrew Israelites, are not the chosen people. So I'm gonna bring out this scripture, basically explaining, and I want you to determine yourself who this applies to. This is in the book of Matthew, in chapter 27. The 27th chapter basically goes into when the Messiah was given or betrayed by Judas, and taken away to be crucified. So this chapter here, you can read it yourself. I'm not gonna read it, but basically I'm gonna go to this verse which says this, which I'm probably gonna read the 23rd verse. And the governor, this is when Yahawashi was given up to what is this guy name? Pilates. I know I'm not saying his name. This Edomite Roman emperor Pilates, or whatever his name, whatever his name is, Pilates. So I'm gonna start at the 23rd verse, and it says, "And the governor said, Why evil have he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified." The that's saying, "Let him be crucified," are the Jews, and the Jews today are the so-called blacks. The so-called blacks today. You know, so they screamed out, "Let the Messiah be crucified," and then verse 24, and it says, when Pilates saw that he could not prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, "I am innocent of the blood of this person. See ye to it." Verse 25, and it reads, "Then answered all the people and said, His blood be upon us and our children." So that was a curse that they placed upon themselves in the involvement of the Messiah, Yahawashi Hamashiach. So they said, "Let his blood be on us and our children." So that's a curse. So according to this curse that they placed upon themselves, I'm gonna basically go into what happened to the Messiah. The Messiah was basically, he was whipped, severely whipped, mocked, spat on, mocked, and disrespected. Um, you know, and then hung on a tree. So they said, "Let his blood be upon us and our children." So basically, what happened to the Messiah, he was basically falsely accused, falsely arrested, betrayed, falsely arrested, mocked, spat on, disrespected, whipped severely, and hung on a tree. So I'm gonna go into that's what happened to the Messiah, So briefly, so I'm gonna bring up these questions, right? Like it says, Matthew 27 and 25. Um, then let then all the people, which are the Jews, and said, "His blood be upon us." So I'm gonna ask you this too. I'm gonna ask you this: who are being incarcerated wrongfully at a high rate? What nation of people are being wrongfully incarcerated? The so-called blacks, so-called blacks, primary, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, but mostly the so-called blacks, because this is a tribe of Judah, which make up of the makeup of the black people, which this curse was placed upon severely the tribe of Judah, which is the so-called blacks. So that's why we are being punished. The so-called blacks are being punished. Like we at the forefront of this punishment. The so-called black people, but it happens to all the tribes. But and I'm gonna ask you this too: who are being beaten, and killed in the streets by the authorities, which are the cops, who are being severely beaten or beaten in the streets and killed by the authorities, which is the cops, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, and this too. Who are notorious for being hung on trees? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, who have been like mocked and ridiculed, spat upon, disrespected. Throughout the years. Slavery. Of course, we was treated lesser than animals. And the era like Jim Crow era, who's been spat on and disrespected and mocked. They made mockery of our people, like watermelon, chicken, and these big lips and the black face and things like that, man. Who's been mocked and all that, man? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Um, that too. Who's been severely whipped? Who's known for being severely whipped? Um, just like in slavery, who's known for being severely whipped and things like that. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You do your research, history and research. So like the Messiah, like happened to the Messiah, he was marred more than any man. They severely beaten the Messiah, or whipped the Messiah, or flogged him. And this too, when it comes to Judas, he's the one that betrayed the Messiah. What nation of people is notoriously known for ratting or snitching on each other, man? It's the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. That's a curse, man. That curse that's talked about in Matthew 27 and 25. It only pertains to a certain amount of people. What happened to the Messiah? This only happened to a particular race of people. And that's that other thing about Barabbas. Even especially to our people this day, like who they prefer. You can ask a lot of these the females that's of our nation who they prefer. They want a thug. Like that song, "Shorty Want a Thug." That's what they prefer, man. They put these guys as role models, these criminals, gang bangers, drug dealers, street, what I mean, hustlers or whatever. They put that like as a high standard in our society, like that's somebody to be or somebody to look up to. So that's that give us Barabbas spirit. They prefer these criminals over the innocent and just, man. If you're an honest guy trying to make a living the right way, this, that, and the third. They looking at you like, you know, especially a lot of these females, you know. Plus you got these idiot niggas. They egg it on too. You know what I'm saying? But you know they try to put a they basically put a label on you like you know, whatever it is, like you some type of you're not the person to be considered as nothing, you know. So yeah, like that's basically the point from the Apostle to Hall, because you know this going back to this video, you know, they got this old um old Jake asking his slave master, you know what I'm saying, questions about the Hebrew Israelites, because I guess his son was concerned or looked it up on the internet, and then he was going into that, like, we are not the real people of the Bible or something like that. That they said basically we look at things as a racist term, on a racist term, racist racially, but they the true racists, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they the original people that look at race, and we don't look at race. We look at the spirit. You know, originally all our people were of a dark or melanin complexion, but you know, as you know, through time progression, blending in the races, you know, we are like a speckled bird now. You know, we got all these nations out here, no matter Edomite, the so-called whites, Chinese, Japanese, Arabs, Africans, or whatever other race out there, man. Our people are blended in all these races of people, you know. So we look like all the other races. That's why the Messiah said, in the scripture it says we're like a speckled bird. But yeah, I just want to speak on that, man, cause yeah, these people are through, man. They finished. Like this Christianity bull crap, Caesar Borgia, it's like finished, man. You know, so that even just that little scripture right there, that can tell you, explain to you, like who are these curses when it says let his blood be upon us and our children. Who would that? So whatever happened to the Messiah at that point in time, what happened? That happened to a whole race of people, man. Only a whole race of people, man. This happened to, man. So yeah, that's all I want to bring out, you know. And I hope it was edifying. I want to say, call Halayim La YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI by Hashem Rakakadash. And Shalom till next time, Yahweh Ratazah, which means Lord willing, and Wah Abba Bo.